This regular board meeting to order, Tuesday, January 20th, 6 p.m. Can I get a roll call?
Yes, you can. President Sterling.
Here.
Vice President Thompson.
Here.
Board Member McKnight.
Present.
Board Member McKinney.
Here.
Board Member Carlson.
Here.
Board Member Johnson.
Present.
Secretary Meeks. Present here.
Pam Cook, Recording Secretary.
Troy Yarbrough, Superintendent.
Shelley Wagner, Human Resources.
Michelle Erb, Curriculum and Instruction.
Jason Bloom, Communications and Community Relations.
Josh Rand, Business and Operations.
Thank you.
We got to come in both directions.
You can hear from here. That's a good sign.
That sounds like a tradition. Conditioning out of this meeting.
Well, it's my pleasure this evening to have a few of our kids from Marquette Elementary join us, along with Mr. Cole, our assistant principal. They are here to help us start our meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and so we're going to get some introductions. He's going to tell you why these three were invited. I'm going to face this way up. We didn't practice that, but that's okay.
Hi. So I have three wonderful students from our elementary school that have joined us. We have 2 second graders and 1 first grader, and they're here for perfect attendance. So I have Jocelyn, Samel, and Maya who joined us tonight.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much.
A quick fun fact, we have 2 of these students representing Miss Thompson's class.
Oh,
Two second.
You somehow take credit for any of that?
Yeah, I was
going for a Ralston tie-in, but it's okay.
Nothing to do with it, but if everybody please stand and join us.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice job, students. Board members, should we come around? We're going to do a quick picture. I just gotta try and see everybody's face. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'll move on a minute.
Awesome. Great job, guys.
There's 9 kids going on Friday, so if there's 2 of those at perfect attendance, they have good immune systems. That's what That's why you have 2.
Can I get a motion and a second for approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member
Wait.
McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Aye.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye. Adjournment.
All right, like we do at every meeting. The mission of the Harlem Consolidated School District as a vital part of the community is to help diverse learners realize their limited potential by providing an educational program dedicated to academic excellence and the development of strong character in a safe and respectful learning environment.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes, closed session minutes for December 15th, 2025, and public hearing minutes for December 8th and 9th of 2025?
Motion. Second.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney.
Aye.
Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Jason?
All right. Well, it is my pleasure this evening. We have one team here that we're going to recognize this evening. You probably heard them out in the hallway. So we rehearsed this. We're going to see how we do with our lineup here, but we'll try. We'll talk through it. Good, keep coming in. Yep, keep coming in. Come around this way. You want to be able to see?
Try to multiple rows.
That's a big deal.
Well, it's my pleasure this evening to recognize a team that just had a big competition not too long ago. They competed at the ICCA Cheer Championships in the, I'm going to try my best to get this right, the Junior Large Game Day Division. Something
Junior
like-
high large game day division, yes.
That was really good. This group of ladies earned 7th place at the state competition, which we're super excited about. As we know, anytime that you can qualify to compete at a state level, that says a lot about your team and your skill and your ability. And so we're excited to recognize them, hear a little bit about their season, and to hear from our coaches. We have Coach Rachel and Coach Aaron here that have led this team. And so, and they're most excited about getting to say their names. And they were practicing that so that they made sure they got it right tonight. So I'm going to turn over to Coach, let her talk a little about this team and the season, and kind of their structure too, because now we've expanded and we have actually 2 different teams at the middle school level that we're working with. And so I'm going to turn over to her to talk a little bit about that.
Hi, I am Coach Rachel Stark-Lofton. This is my first year heading the middle school team. I have assisted it for the past few years. I also run the Junior Husky program as well in the district. This year we have started something a little different, just so that way we have more athletes to be able to develop and feed into the high school program. So this year we decided to do an orange team and a black team over at the middle school. The orange team focuses on the game day, game day division, which they competed at and earned a 7th grade placing, or 7th place, 7th place placing at ICCA. That focuses more on school spirit, trying to get the crowd involved, and skills and such of that level. Routine is our other team, which is our black team, and they are still competing right now, so that is why they are not here. And then we would have 35 athletes in here, and I don't think
It's always room.
be a little tighter than what we are right now. So we are very proud. This is the first year that we've done this, and they earned their state qualification in early December, which was the first time that we've taken game day on. And so I'm very, very proud of them. They worked very hard this season, and they should be very proud of themselves. It's been a road, a lot of hard practices. I think they, sometimes they come on and they're like, oh, it's so fun, and then they don't realize the hard work that always goes into the things. And it's long days, and they have to maintain their athletic eligibility. And I'm a little rougher on that than maybe it might put in the policies as well. So anytime I see anything slipping, they know I will come to a class. I will, I'm emailing them, so they all get emails if anything is off. But they're a really good bunch of girls, and I'm very, very proud of them this season. So, and then I'll hand it over to Coach Aaron.
Hi. A lot of you guys look familiar. I see you guys at Chick-fil-A all the time. Yep, I saw that iced coffee immediately when I came in. But yeah, assisting coaching these girls has been absolutely amazing. Like a couple years ago, I was literally in their spot right in front of you guys getting my recognition for state. And it's just like full circle moment. I'm just so glad to be able to pour my cheer knowledge that I have into them and for them to take that on to the next step with them. So makes me a really proud coach, really proud.
Yes, he's been an amazing assistant coach. So
we'll take the countless hours of not sleeping at night, worrying about how the routine's
yes.
gonna go, replaying it.
But
always.
let's learn about them. So we'll go ahead and we'll hand it over, starting over here.
Hi, my name is Ava Spates and I'm in 6th grade. Hi, my name is Lily Veracity and I'm in 6th grade. Hi, my name is Jada Martin and I'm in 6th grade. Hi, my name is Jordan Young and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name is Shania and I'm in 6th grade.
Hi, my name is Nola and I'm in 7th grade. Hi, my name is Timmy Fowler and I'm in 7th grade. Hi, my name is Callie Harveston and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Miranda Arabi and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, my name is Chloe Grzinski and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Nella Rosario and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Ellie Uzel and I'm in 8th grade. Hi, my name is Anaya Deck and I'm in 8th grade.
Hi, my name is Ambryo Jacobs and I'm in 8th grade.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, on behalf of the board, our community, our school, our families, the other students, we're incredibly proud of your accomplishments. It's great to see such a wide age range. Look forward to seeing some of you back hopefully next year to recognize you as well. And we obviously hope to see those 8th graders in high school competing at the level that they are. I also want to say a special thanks to them because, you know, we talked or made mention of the teams and splitting. You know, that was something that was driven by them as a way to increase participation. We know we have a large middle school, and, you know, somebody that came from coaching basketball at the time, we only had one team, and we had made that transition to having 2 teams. And so these 2 are taking on 2 teams themselves. But it's allowing more kids to participate at this level, which I think is awesome, as it gives chances for kids to prepare for high school and what competition looks like at the high school level. But just again, giving a lot more chance for our kids to be engaged and connected to our programs or through our programs. And so thank you to you 2, because I know it's a big ask and a big lift to not only coach one team, but to take 2 teams and to focus on all the details that come with practice and precision that this sport takes.
We get 1 practice space for 2 teams at a time.
Shameless plug there. So.
Put that in there. Gotta put that in there.
But,
We need to get it done.
But on behalf of all of us, congratulations, job well done. Thank you for representing us so well. And kudos for your hard work. We're going to have to scrunch it in a little bit.
I know, it's going to be, right? 6 months long.
7th grade,
You just need some taller shoes on the front.
8th grade. Anaya, I want you on this side here. Ella, if you want to stand on this side because you're a captain, so I want you to stand on this Yeah, I think I'm still on this side. Oh, yeah, you guys want to come down here? Here, you guys like this. Wait, they have the ribbon. Oh, yeah. You guys, all right, there you go. All right, how we doing this there? Right here? Yeah, oh, perfect.
All right. I think that's about as good as we can do. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hang tight. I'll move all the way real quick. Here we go.
Teeth, guys. Your parents paid for them. I know. Because I said it. Actually, that's
Great job.
Yeah, they could have done it. They probably rather of that.
So as families are departing, I do have a couple other just quick recognitions that I want to make, and just a few things to note. First, I know some of you were able to attend, but we're excited to support Hari Young, who is getting the chance to go to the Super Bowl and to be part of all the festivities around flag football. It's a pretty big honor for her to be one of 4 student athletes representing the state of Illinois, going alongside Lamont Jones. And so I know that we'll invite her after that experience so we can hear from her what that was like. But a pretty cool thing, a big deal to see. And we even, have seen that in our social media. I think last I checked, we had 68,000 views of that post.
Awesome.
That just shows, and that brings the community support, and obviously the Park District has been instrumental in the flag football. We've had them here as a newer program, but to see that opportunity to exist for this girl and somebody that's well respected by our teammates and coaches, and pretty exciting. So
for any of the community that doesn't know, that's what's going on in that picture right there.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yep. had the chance, we were able to surprise, I shouldn't say they were able to surprise her. She had no idea walking into this room, and there was a lot of people in there, and to be surprised with that, this opportunity, you could tell she was pretty excited, pretty big smile on her face. So we look forward to hearing about that. I do want to just preemptively give a quick shout out on behalf of the board and us to our property services team. As we know, they're calling for snow tonight, and the work that they put in, and starting at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the amount of time that happens during the season outside of their normal duties to take care of the snow and stuff like that. We just want to give them a shout out. And then lastly, to the board, I know that you have this on your agenda, but I just want to make sure you're all aware that when we host the Kishwaukee Division Dinner on February 26th, our culinary students will be providing the appetizers for that evening. So we're excited to showcase their talent. Just for logistical stuff, we will have some tours that will be happening ahead of time, as those events typically do, so we can showcase the facilities at the high school. But just wanted to encourage you all to be there, and obviously to show your support and make you aware that our culinary arts group is going to be working on putting all of those appetizers together and stuff like that. They do a great job, and I think it's just a cool way to celebrate the stuff that they do in that program. So just a couple of quick things I had for you, and that's all I got.
Thank you. We'll be turning it over to public comments from the community. We have 3. One was from Dale Langley. I think sending that over to you. That was an email. First one will be from Don Campbell. Comments from the community should be respectful and demonstrate consideration for others. Comments regarding specific individuals are inappropriate. Address the board only at the appropriate time as indicated on the agenda. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes to present his or her comment. Comments concerning the same subject matter will be narrowed to one spokesperson, but we don't have that word. Please be aware that the Board of Education members will not respond to your comments or questions during the meeting. If necessary, the superintendent or appropriate designee will contact you after the meeting to follow up concerning the question brought forward. And with that, I will turn it over to you, sir.
My name is Don Campbell. I have a daughter that's really sad that she couldn't be here because she's really getting into the whole board discussion, and obviously with the consolidation plan, it's affecting her deeply. So I'm bringing the attention that I believe that the minutes that were just approved for December 8th and 9th do not properly reflect the public comments. The public comments stating that the disapproval of closing, not only the consolidation, but also the closing specifically of Maple and Olson Park schools were very sporadically mentioned in the minutes compared to what they actually were. And it's more of a generalization, and I'm asking that the board amends that to actually specific stating that the disapproval of the Maple and Olson Park closing, so it's for public record. There were many comments that were specifically stated as such, and so I'm formally requesting that the board correct those minutes and for the next meeting. I also want to state my disapproval that at the last meeting there were 4 options and not one of them included anything of trying to keep Maple or Olson Park open. There are 4 options. You say you heard from the public. There are many people talking about do not close our schools, and not one single option was out there. So I would just like to state my disapproval for that.
Thank you, sir. Caitlin Maverick.
Hi guys. I wanted to point out just that listening to all of the meetings, I'm a little disappointed and a little frustrated. And I know that many people are as well. And I listened to our admin team, I listened to our board members, and I listened to a lot of the community, and I heard what people wanted. I heard a lot of blame passed around, and a lot of it was really inaccurately placed. But there are some things that I didn't hear that I thought needed more attention or didn't hear enough. And I changed the order I wrote them in, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to stay on. The first one was that the original scenario 7 really came from a point of looking at the most equitable way to spread out our resources. And I don't feel like that got touched on enough. It was really looking at spreading out the resources across our district because we know that there are areas of inequity in our district. And seeing that get tossed out and understanding that there was a lot of pushback on it, I didn't hear pushback on that pushback that I wanted to hear. And then it felt a little bit like a negotiation that went sideways, where you didn't take the first offer and we got one back. That wasn't as good. The new proposal is very much a highlighted area of the haves and the have-nots. And that's problematic. And it's problematic when people realize that their title resources are going to be limited in areas because of where they are. And I know that that was pointed out, but I don't think people realize that yet. The second thing I wanted to point out was that I really appreciated when Mr. McKnight brought up the idea about the tax, the amount of people that are contributing to the taxes, and how when there's a reduction in that, that takes away from the budget we have for our kids. What I didn't hear is stuff that's been talked about in these meetings that I know you guys have been really forthright, but I don't think the community has paid enough attention to. And that's things like the fact that we have the former Black Hawk Bank that is trying to reduce its tax liability. And I am sure there are many people in our community who have mortgages with that company. And we should be putting pressure on them to contribute to the communities that they are built in. We should be doing the same for the pharmacy chain and the home improvement store that have been talked about in these meetings, that we spend money downstate trying to get them to contribute to our community the way they're supposed to. And all of that takes away from the money that we have to use in resources for our kids, along with some of the reduction in tax liability. But those are some things that we as a community can control. We can control where we spend our money, and we can control who we put pressure on. The last thing I wanted to just point out was that according to our last Illinois report card, we spent about $18,000 on each kid. Okay, so we have people out here that were upset about their tax contribution being $6,000. I'm just going to use that roughly. That's a third of what it costs to educate your kid. The rest of that comes from your neighbors putting into the community, and we are a community, and there's a responsibility to contribute. There's also a responsibility to hold those businesses earlier mentioned and ones like them responsible for contributing to that. If that's what you're paying in taxes, you're getting a heck of a deal. That's a third. And we should be talking about that. And how that we are below the national average, which is $20,000 to $25,000. If you're looking at private schools around here, you're looking at $6,000 to $10,000 a year for elementary. You're looking up to $20,000 for high school. We are a steal. Public education is what is the foundation of this country and our community. And so I felt like there needs to be more conversation on how we all contribute and what happens when we don't and how we face deficits, because it wasn't a spending issue. It's an income issue.
Thank you. Approval of the bills.
All right, thank you very much. The total payables this period were $1,177,950.66. There were three payrolls this period for a total amount of $11,036,492.23, for total expenditures of $12,214,442.89. Split out by fund, the education fund paid $10,556,146.96. The operations and maintenance fund paid $677,480.74. The transportation fund paid $586,262.29. The IMRF Social Security Fund paid $387,552.90, and the Life Safety Fund paid $7,000. Again, for total expenditures of $12,214,442.89. Are there any unanswered bill questions? Is it for the bills?
Motion to approve the bills.
Motion. Second.
Mrs. Board Member McKinney? Aye. Board Member Carlson?
Yes.
Board Member Johnson?
Aye.
Secretary Weeks? Aye. President Sterling?
Aye.
Vice President Thompson?
Aye.
Board Member McKnight?
Aye.
Dr. Bashir?
Thank you. Tonight, I'm bringing forward 4 overnight travels. In 3 of these, the students had to qualify for state. Our middle school's doing great things because 3 of them are the middle school state competition, so congratulations to all of them. The first one takes place on January 28th through the 31st. It's for the IMEC All-State. I brought the high school one forward at the last meeting, or last month. These are for our middle schoolers who qualified. It's something we started last year, allowing them that opportunity, and great things are happening there. So that takes place, I think I already said, January 28th through the 31st. My next one is the one that I bring every year, which is the Model UN. That's our high school students. It is from February 5th through the 8th, takes place in Chicago, and they have come back and share some of their experiences with us, I know in the past, and it seems like quite an opportunity for our kids. The third one is IESA State. It's for middle school cheer. It will take place in Peoria. The students will leave on February 10th and return on the 11th. And my final one is IDTA State Competition. That's our middle school dance team, and that takes place on February 13th through the 15th, and that will occur in Springfield. That ends my report.
Thank you so much. Commissioner.
All right, thank you very much. My first recommendation tonight is to approve a resolution declaring surplus property at Maple Elementary, Harlem High School, Parker Center, and Harlem Administration Center. Next, 10B2 is a recommendation to accept the November 2025 Treasurer's Report as we reviewed in Committee of the Whole last Wednesday evening. Are there any questions on that? 10B3 is a recommendation to award the bus bid to Central States Bus Sales for 3 conventional style buses at a cost of $449,370 and 3 transit style front engine buses at a cost of $514,740 for a total cost of $964,110. So just a reminder, those 6 buses, we've been buying 12 to 15, so we're scaling that back for next year based on some of the state funding, and just take a look at how the income comes in. Are there any questions on those bus purchase recommendation? 10B4 is a recommendation to award the high school dust collection bid to Miller Engineering Company in the amount of $370,917, and this will be paid with our life safety funds. Any questions on that bid award recommendation? 10B5 is a recommendation to approve an agreement with Aya Healthcare, Inc. to provide nursing services at Loves Park Elementary at a cost of $80 per hour at 37.5 hours per week for 20 weeks for a total cost of $60,000 paid with IDEA flow-through Part B funds. Any questions? 10B6 is a recommendation to approve contracted school improvement grant tutor for Rock Cut Elementary at a cost of $10,500, paid with planning year Title I, Part A, Section 1003. Next is a recommendation to approve Tyler Technologies / Munis Reporting Services migration for a one-time cost of $3,600. My final item is a recommendation to approve an agreement with Nania Energy Advisors as we look to bid out our electricity services. If there are no questions, that is my report this evening.
Well, the Nania is not cellular, or the solar panels.
Nope. So they have 2 divisions. They help districts put in solar, which we're not doing, and they will help us put together the bid and evaluate the vendors on the electricity side.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll negotiate our rates for you.
Yep.
Dr. Wynn?
Good evening. Have the recommendation to approve the personnel agenda and addendum this evening. We have 10 employments, 24 resignations, 9 transfers, and requests for 2 new paraprofessional positions. These positions are requested as we had 2 new move-ins to the life skills program. One is at Parker Center and one is at the high school. That ends my report.
Thank you. Dr. Terrell Yarbrough.
Thank you, Board President Sterling. I have 5 FOIA requests here to read, and so as you know, I got to read them all. Okay. So the first one is dated December 5th of 2025 and was submitted by Brad Shields, requesting salary reports for all certified and uncertified staff in the Harlem School District. The district responded to the requester on December 16th, 2025 with the inclusive documents. The second FOIA request was dated December 11th of 2025 and was submitted by Nathaniel Langley from WIFR, requesting an opportunity to inspect or obtain copies of emails from Superintendent Terrell Yarbrough that contain the word plan as well as scenario written between January 1st of 2025 through the date of the request. The district responded to the requester on January 5th, 2026 with the inclusive documents. The third one was dated December 5th of 2025 and was submitted by Ashley Bragg, requesting access to the following records related to the CTE, Career and Technical Education Expansion Project at Harlem High School, specifically for the period from December 1st of 2022 through the present. The district responded to the requester on December 19th, 2025 with the inclusive documents. The next one was dated December 31st, 2025, was submitted by Owen Wayne from Rockford Sun, requesting copies of all active full-time aid contracts or collective bargaining agreements. The district responded to the requester on January 5th, 2026 with no pertaining documents. And then the final one was dated January 15th of 2026, was submitted by the Illinois Retired Teachers Association, requesting the contact information of certified staff who are planning to retire in 2026. The district responded to the requester on January 15th, 2026 with the inclusive documents. And then finally, I want to bring a recommendation to approve second reading of policy 8:20 AP from our November 17th, 2025 board meeting. As you guys remember, that is the one with facilities. It's just giving Mr. Rand the opportunity to, not bring something to the board, on the weekend, on Sundays specifically. And so, unless he has some questions or wants to let you guys know about it. So, and that ends my report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve personal agenda and addendum?
Motion.
Second.
Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve student travel requests?
Motion.
Second.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve resolution declaring surplus property?
Motion.
Second.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney.
Aye.
Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to accept November 2025 Treasurers Report?
Motion.
Second.
Board Member Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve award bus to Central States Bus Sales for 3 conventional style buses at a cost of $449,370 and 3 transit style front engine buses at a cost of $514,740 for a total cost of $964,110.
Motion.
Second.
Vice President Thompson,
Aye.
Board Member McKnight,
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye. Can I get a motion to award HHS dust collection bid to Miller Engineering Company in the amount of $370,917?
Motion.
Second. Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve agreement with Aya Healthcare to provide nursing services to Lowe's Park Elementary at a cost of $80 per hour, 37.5 hours per week, 20 weeks total, with the cost of $60,000, paid with the idea flow through Part B.
Motion. Second.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve contracted school improvement grant tutor for Rock Cut Elementary at a cost of $10,500, paid with the planning year Title I, Part A, Section 1003?
Motion.
Second.
Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve Tyler Technologies Meetings Reporting Services migration for a cost of $3,600?
Motion.
Second.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve agreement with Nanya Energy Advisors?
Motion.
Second.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve second reading of policy 8.20 AP from November 17, 2025 board meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Vice President Thompson.
Aye.
Board Member McKnight.
Aye.
Board Member McKinney. Aye. Board Member Carlson.
Yes.
Board Member Johnson.
Aye.
Secretary Meeks. Aye. President Sterling.
Aye. Turning it over to announcements and discussion.
Yes, I had received several emails this week, and a lot of them asked why we didn't even look at option 4, which would be the sister schools. And I'd like to read at this time an email that I received. I'm not going to say the teacher's name, but she's a teacher in the Harlem School District, and all of us received it on the board. And I thought she made some very good points about sister schools, so I just would like to read it to you from my phone here. It says that she is writing as a teacher in this district who has taught in the 1 through 6 neighborhood school at Parker and at Parker Center, and now in a grade level bandit school. Because I have experienced all 3 modes firsthand, I feel strongly that grade level band structure best serves our students, families, and staff. I also want to acknowledge how difficult this decision is. I know that you're being asked to choose between 2 imperfect options, both which deeply impact family, staff, and long-term future of our district. You truly are in a position of weighing competing needs, and I appreciate the time, care, and responsibility that you are bringing to this process. I am writing this email because I do not feel that the positives of grade level bands have been fully represented in this conversation. Change is uncomfortable, but growth often happens in that discomfort, and I feel that models offer meaningful and long-term benefits to our students and community. One of our biggest concerns with a standalone kindergarten building is the disconnect it creates for our youngest learners. Kindergarten classrooms are not clustered by neighborhood schools, which means many students form friendships that are immediately disrupted after just 1 year. When I taught kindergarten, I watched students spend their last month crying because I knew that they would not see their friends again until middle school. That is a heavy emotional burden for 5-year-olds who are just learning what school even is. Kindergarten being isolated also creates a gap in expectations. While I fully understand the developmental differences between a 5-year-old and a first grader, our kindergarten students should be held to the high standards of being safe, respectful, and ready to learn. And when they're in their own building where they're offered viewed as babies, which can unintentionally lower expectations for behavior and independence. Our kindergartners are capable of so much more, and they are supported with considerate and constant experiences that continue into first grade. If concerns exist about transitions from a grade level band level model, I would argue that a standalone kindergarten is actually the hardest transition of all. We are asking our littlest learners to build relationships with staff and peers, learn in a building, and figure out what school is, only to move again that very next year and start over. Grade level bands provide a more developmental, appropriate, and stable path forward. There are many clear benefits to grade level bands. One, it's more flexible and effective grouping of students. With more sections of each grade, schools can better create balanced classrooms. When you only have 2 or 3 sections in a neighborhood school, there is very little flexibility when students do not work well together or have academic and behavioral needs vary. There's greater consistency and depth with curriculum. Currently, our PDS support grades 1 through 5, which is extremely wide range. In a banded model, they could focus on just 2 grade levels, allowing them to to build deeper expertise and provide more meaningful instructional support to teachers. There's more equitably in class sizes. The neighborhood model, one teacher might have 17 students, while another in the same grade across town has 25. This makes it very difficult to evaluate curriculum and instructional practices fairly. Stronger social emotional development is in a banded program. Students reach middle school knowing roughly half of their graduating class. This enables them to develop stronger peer relationships, feel a better sense of belonging, and navigate social growth with a broader support network. And stronger advanced learning and honors opportunities. In 4th and 5th grade, honors and advanced learning classrooms are more feasible in a banded model. Currently, students are gifted in one subject, often do not apply, it doesn't apply to the advanced learning, and miss out on enrichment in their strongest area. In the neighborhood model, families sometimes are forced to choose between keeping that child with friends or seeking academic rigor. Grade level bands allow students to have both meaningful peer connections and access to instructions that they may need to grow. And strong relationships all still thrive. As a teacher currently working in a grade level banded school, I can confidently say that strong relationships with students and families are built quickly and meaningfully in this model. A stronger, more united community. Grade level bands help make the vision possible. Students within a band can host at events like they bring families together, such as Marquette and McChesney's Turkey Bingo this year. These shared experiences strengthen their community rather than divide it. I know there is no easy answer here. However, based on my experience across all 3 models, I believe grade level bands provide greater equity, stronger academic support, and a more connected school community for our students. Thank you for your time and service and dedication to making these thoughtful decisions for our district. What I'd like to say is, we've all been here for a long time in the Harlem School District, a lot of us have. And Marquette has been in grade 1, 2, 3, and McChesney 4, 5, and just until a couple years ago, 6 for over 20 years. We've actually been doing a sister school banded program here for over 20-some years, and it's worked well. And actually, I really did appreciate her email with her opinions, since she has served at all 3 schools. And I think maybe option 4 is something that we should look at, because kindergartners and 1, 2 kindergartners, 1st and 2nd grade in one school, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th in another, they're only transferring twice like they are now from kindergarten to a school. And it does help, as the person mentioned here, we are having the problem with I got another email and talked to a few people that are worried about the economic segregation that we're having, as they call it. And we really need to look into that too. But I wanted to bring it up and see if there's any support from the board to also look at Proposition 4. We've received some good insight from some teachers at Marquette, and I just wanted to see if anybody would be interested in looking into option 4, because I think her email was very insightful to me, having served in all 3 areas. And I don't think some people might not even have thought that we do grade banding, but we've been doing it Marquette and McChesney for a long, long time.
So you're looking for consensus for that to be considered?
Yes.
We need a second.
Yeah, right.
I will. I definitely consent because I said last week I would agree with 3 or 4.
Yeah, one of the call-outs I had was 4, was that it addressed some of the issues with 3, but with no support of 4 at that time, I dropped it for the safer method of 1. I think with option 4, and I'm not saying that's one way to go either side, is there are benefits, right? So you get 1, replace our aging ALP with proper honors courses, it was discussed, so that you're not kind of targeting just who's at the school, who wants to give up their friends. All these locations have that opportunity. You expand out the peer group, so that lessens the potential for bullying once you get to the middle school, which we have heard for the 5 or 6 years I've been on the board here. So there's some benefits to it as well. And it's, in some cases, a lesser transition. All my kids have gone through, as I mentioned at the last meeting, they went through Parker Center, they went through Marquette, and they went through McChesney. So they went through all these steps. This would be 1 less of those. It also lessens the construction issues of dealing with Parker Center. It's still going to keep the little kids in the little school. So I still want to hear what the public thinks of this. I mean, the bans is just a terrible word, right? Like, look at the meaning, look what's there, give me honest feedback, the board as well, as we do this. But I unfortunately still don't think there's really a direct place right now for option 3. But if option 4 is replacing option 3, you would have my vote of consensus.
Like I say, I think banding, like you said, is a word that we really don't like, but I mean, sisters.
They mean drastically different things, I think, at this point.
And sister cities, or sister schools, you know, is a way to go. And as I think they just mentioned, they just started doing that, but like doing things together with the 2 schools, like that turkey bingo. And so the kids get to know what the other schools
They have a joint
like.
PTO as well.
Yeah.
So again, these are some of the concerns that we were hearing. But when back with the last meeting, they, you know, if I was the lone man out that was having support there, and I'm, again, option 1 has some benefits to it, but I don't want anyone else that does the feedback going, it's not 1, so it has to be bad, right? It's banned, so it has to be bad. Like, take a look, give the honest feedback what's directly there.
Okay. Aaron?
I said 1 and 2, so I'm gonna stand on that. I can't get behind 3 or 4, so I'm gonna say no on the consensus.
Rebecca? This is just for.
Just to switch 3 to 4 is
I-
kind of what you're talking about.
This is just for, so we're able to consider.
Are we switching 3 to 4? Is that what we're looking for consensus, or are we looking to add 4, so now we're at 1, 3, and 4?
If we add 4, I'm out. Like, oh, sorry, if we're adding 4 to this agreement, I'm out. I think 3 needs to go.
Okay, that was different than what the.
That's
That's fine, I mean, what are we consenting? Make sure my consensus is correct.
Correct, all right, so are you asking to replace 3 with 4?
If that's where we can get more consensus for, I would be willing to do that. So Kurt's in on 4, right, Kurt?
Yeah, because if we do
I'm trying
3
to keep
again, we're
track.
going to be right back where we're at the meeting, guys, and that's going to get us nowhere, so.
Is that okay with you, Diane?
Yes, I have no problem with that. Like I said before, I would go along with 3 or 4, so 4 is fine.
Okay. And, well, you already know how I feel, so that's 3. What about Rebecca?
After lots of research, I have to go with Aaron and say 1 and 2.
No, we're just.
Oh, we're good,
No.
okay. No, then the answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, we're good. Thank you.
So you're gonna eliminate 3, right?
Well, I'm just gonna,
Eliminate 3, and then we would only consider 1 and 4.
4 would be the sister school.
Well, you're gonna eliminate 3, but that doesn't mean I have to vote on.
No.
No.
Okay.
It just gives consensus so that you can consider it on.
Unless you wanted to
Tuesday.
keep 3.
Okay.
Okay, you have consensus? I'm a no. Is there any more announcements and discussion at this time?
I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Little things.
That's what we're here for.
Well, that's good. First, I wanted to apologize to the 12 people at this table and to the community for letting my emotions get away from me at the meeting last week. And after all the taunting and heckling, and I snapped and yelled back at some, who knows who was out there, and I have to apologize and say I'm sorry for doing that, because that's beneath me and I shouldn't have done it. But in that regard, I think we need to work on the protocol, etiquette, of meetings, whether they are COTW, public hearings, regular board meetings. And you've read the instructions, even like you did tonight with the comments, that these people in these meetings don't care. And they're cheering, and they're clapping, and they're yelling, and they're taunting, and it's inappropriate. And just the fact that it happens, whether it's in this meeting or in any other meeting, it should be curtailed, and there should be accountability. And, you know, when I'm even sitting in this room, and there are some that are sitting, whether we're meeting, and they're yelling things at the board members, that's really unacceptable. And I think we need to possibly even have a SIP day for our staff, and maybe say, hey, you know, we gotta go over some of these policies that say how to behave and how to act in etiquette and things. So I just think we need to look into curtailing some of the things that are going on. So that's pretty much it.
When do we vote on this?
27. 27.
Next week.
Tuesday.
I just want to say, I want to thank the administrators for all the time you put in, but I've been going over everything, doing some deep thinking, and I'm going to make sure I make the right decision for our district. Because when I ran for this, I ran for the students first and then the families and stuff, but I always look at life as your school days, your school years are the only, you're never gonna get that back. So I wanna make sure Harlem students get the best education, safety, you know, no bullying and everything that they need. So I'm gonna make sure that I vote for the right thing because my heart is telling me to do it, not because of other people or the insults or nothing like that. I vote by listening to people. I've been talking to little kids, little bitty kids, you know, high school, grade school, all ages, and some of the community stuff. And my heart is telling me one thing, and I'm going to do what I feel is best for this community. And that's what I stand for. I just wish we can get to a place to where people can talk and communicate with each other without getting angry or losing friendships or losing families because of your opinion. If we start getting like that, we're just going to be in a box. You should be able to say what you want without this person getting mad at you or losing friendship or a husband and wife breaking up. You know, it's just, it's crazy how people have gotten, and I can't blame, it's just, I don't know what's going on, but I wish we could just get back to this community, to not saying that we're not loving, because I love this community, but I know when things happen, it scares you, so, and everybody's afraid of the unknown, but I'm gonna do what I feel is best for this community, and especially our children, and then the parents and stakeholders and everybody in this community. And I know some people might get angry, but I'm human, and I have a right to change my vote or stress my opinion and do what I feel is best. So, and like I said, I've been going over these things till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, just going back and looking, and I'm going to make sure I vote what I feel is best for this district. And I just wish that we could all get back to the place to where we could be more respectful to people, because this is hard, and we all took this because we care about this community, not just to be saying I'm a board member. I took it because my heart, I love this district, and I want to make sure everybody, especially our children, because you're going to always get older, you're never going to get younger. You can always go to college, but you can never get your school days back. And that's what my thing is for. So, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I spoke enough at the last meeting, so I'm gonna just kind of, I think everybody knows where I stand. And actually, you know what, I am gonna say something. Why not? So, as a board member, the first thing we have to, our number one job, and I'm just letting the community know, our number one job is the education and the students and the teachers. That's our number one job. Our number two job, obviously, is the taxpayers, right? So, as a board member, we are in a balancing act of number one, representing our taxpayers, and number two, well, number one, getting our children the best education, and number two, appeasing to the taxing base. what was said is, what was said back there is, and I had a brain fart on your name because that happens, but you know who we're up to. What was said is when you look at the tax base, I mean, I'm just gonna give an example. My youngest is graduating this year, so therefore I will not have a single child in the district. And I will not complain about paying taxes. Someone paid for my children before, I'm paying for someone else's children before, as long as it's a reasonable tax rate. So, like I said, I'll have no skin in the game besides my taxes at that point in time, but I'm paying for the next generation to go through, and I think that's the way we gotta look at it. Somebody paid for us, and we're paying for them. So, like I said, it obviously is the children first, and that comes with the students, the teachers, that comes with that, but we also have to look at our taxpayers too, and that's always the tipping point as being a board member, is we're trying to get the closest to that access as possible. And I think there's a way to get there with some of these plans. I mean, I know there's a way to get there with some of these plans, so. With that being said, I'll send it back to you, President Sterling.
Thank you. Kurt, anything?
No, I mean, I think it's good that we did this because we're going into another meeting. It gives you time to review, follow up, and get that feedback for all directions, right? I think this meeting and this conversation really does prove that we're listening to all of that. I think it's just asking to be a little nicer at times to all members is just the courtesy, and the part of being in this community is important. But, we're human. There's a lot of emotions involved to this. It impacts a lot of us. And I love your point, Aaron. Like, we're just maximizing the return on our investment, which are our kids. So that can keep going generation over generation. Yeah.
No, the only thing I can add was, to the community, we've been very cognizant of taxes in general. Over the last years, how many tax abatements?
We've paid about $12 million in property tax relief grant and brought that debt payment down from $6.5 million down to 2.7.
Correct. We also didn't have to, but made a deal with North Park Water. That saved the taxpayer $13 million there on that well. We've consistently and will continue to consistently look for ways to save taxpayers
You
dollars.
made a deal with Lowe's Park too, with the water tower.
With the water tower, yes, but what I'm saying is a continuous thing. When I joined the board, we were number 1 in the highest rate, and now we are 3. So we've gone down on our tax rate. This year, going into this, the board consistently, as a group, said that we were not looking towards the taxpayers to burden us with this deficit. So we've looked many different ways. The deficit only said that we couldn't kick the can anymore over this utilization of the schools. That's why we had to look at the schools. It's gotten to a point where the numbers say that we can't hope and pray anymore for young families to move into homes that don't exist. There are no empty neighborhoods in our area. So now it's time to look towards whatever option, and we don't have to do it all on one plan. We have time. There's multiple years that this district can afford to run a deficit, but we're not trying to. That's why we started this, and that's why many options will be on the table. Many more things will be coming up. Justifications for many things will need to be had. But it doesn't just stop on Tuesday the 26th. We don't just stop and say, all right, we're done for the future. We'll keep looking. But at the end of the day, it's for the kids, but we still have to protect the taxpayers' dollars while we do it. But the end result's for the kids. And as long as you're doing it for that, you're doing the right things. Anything else with anybody? All right, with that, can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
I will motion.
Second. There you go. Where you stand.